we're going to get right into tonight's teaching. I have so much information, and I'm so excited to be able to share it with you. My wife will tell you I prepare for these messages literally all year long. I probably have at least, I'm not going to scare you because we're not going to go over all of these articles, but I have at least 500 news articles that I have saved over the year that would be end times prophecy news. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, tonight's going to be really all about artificial intelligence and just kind of showing you what is coming with artificial intelligence. I think that we have an idea of what's out there, but I don't think we really understand what's coming with artificial intelligence and robotics into our world. And the reason why this is significant prophetically is because I believe that this is a technology that the Antichrist is going to use to install and enforce the mark of the beast. And so amazing that the Bible predicted that this was going to happen literally 2,000 plus years ago. And here we are living in the year 2025, almost 2026, and we see that everything is falling into place exactly as the Bible predicted. And so I want to open up with a Bible verse here in 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. And I've entitled this first session, Perilous Times Are Here. Perilous times are here. We read in 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1, "But understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty. For people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness, but denying its power, and avoid such people." I've mentioned this before when I've read this scripture. This passage did not define humanity, at least not in America, up until very recently. But now you read this list of what it says the last days generation is going to look like, and it is a clone or a mirrored image of our generation. Every single one of these aspects, characters and characteristics and attributes that are listed here are normalized now in our society, especially for the younger generation that's been raised on social media and on the technology that's just kind of pushing out everything that it is pushing out, good and bad. I mean, obviously there's great uses of the technology as well, but anything that man creates for good, Satan takes and evil people take and use for evil. That's just kind of the way it goes with human nature. We are on a bent toward evil as humans. And so you give humans all of this information and all of these options, and most times people are going to choose evil rather than good. They're going to choose sin rather than righteousness. It's just human nature. And we are literally just swimming in all of this filth, as it were, through all of our social media and so forth. So I have some articles here that I have screenshotted, and we're going to start with this one, and Kenny's going to help me to go through this. And everyone give a big round of applause to Kenny and to Tara for helping to put all this together. I'm not a very tech-savvy person, so this is a lot for me to be able to put anything up on the screen for you, because it's kind of out of my comfort zone a little bit. And I don't have a computer by choice. I just use this little computer, and so it's a little bit more challenging when you're dealing with multimedia stuff. But I'm going to go through several articles. These are from well-known sources. These are not Christian sources necessarily. They're just general news sources that you could have found these articles on your news feeds as well. and I'm going to share some of them with you here tonight. And then we're going to have 3 videos totaling about 40 minutes here in just a few minutes. And so we're going to sit and we're going to actually watch a few videos as well, because I think a picture is worth 1,000 words and a video is probably worth 10,000 words in reality. And then I'll come back up and I'll share some more news articles with you. We'll take a break and then we'll go for a second session, have a couple more videos for you that second session, and share some more articles with you. And then we'll have a third session at the end. And there will be no videos in the third session. It will just be some news articles and some scripture. But I want to start with this The Guardian news article. And it's the headline of this news article says, "From Shrimp Jesus to Erotic Tractors, How Viral AI Slop Took Over the Internet." The flood of unreality is an endpoint of algorithm-driven internet and a product of economy dependent on a few top-notch firms. And then it has the different pictures there, one of them having Jesus pictured as a shrimp. In the algorithm-driven economy of 2025, one man's shrimp Jesus is another man's side hustle. So one thing that we would expect to see in the last days is tremendous blasphemy. It's one of the things that's going to define the last days is blasphemy against God and against the Lord Jesus Christ. And I think this is definitely an example of that. AI slop, the low-quality, surreal content flooding social media platforms designed to farm views, is a phenomenon, some would say the phenomenon of the 2024 and 2025 internet. Merriam-Webster's word of the year this year is slop, referring exclusively to the internet variety. It came about shortly after the advent of popular large language models such as ChatGPT and DALL-E, which democratized content creation and enabled vast swaths of internet denizens to create images and videos that resemble to varying degrees the creations of professionals. In 2024, it began to achieve peak cultural moments. Notable among these was Shrimp Jesus, a viral trend in which Facebook was briefly flooded with AI-generated images of the deity fused with crustaceans. Shrimp Jesus was quickly followed by hallmarks of the AI slop genre, videos of old women claiming to celebrate their 122nd birthday, and many soap operas about the dramatic lives of cats. And AI is just getting started. AI slop is just getting started. Right now it's silly, it's goofy, it looks fake. But AI is getting better. It's learning. It's machine learning. It's teaching itself how to do everything better and to do everything more believably and more realistically. There is a race for the AI Jesus. This is an article from The Economist. And it says, the race for an AI Jesus is on. A chatbot offers personalized counsel on faith. A pastor's job is to lead congregants towards a closer relationship with the divine. With Christmas approaching, many are writing sermons they hope will do just that. Yet surveys show that Americans' trust in clergy has hit a record low. More people now pray in their cars than pray in churches. This app has about 150,000 users and is popular in American cities like New York, but also in Mexico and across South America. AI Jesus is too concerned with providing answers palatable to the itching ears of the 21st century users, wrote James Spencer of the Christian Post, a news website. He reckons the bot barely resembles biblical Jesus. To his horror, he writes, it wouldn't unequivocally confirm that Jesus is God. Stéphane Peter, the app's French-born founder, admits that his own mother thinks his innovation is blasphemous. So understand this. This is talking to Jesus. This is getting an app that's pretending to be Jesus Christ. And there's 150,000 as of December 18th, 150,000 followers or subscribers that talk to this quote-unquote AI Jesus. Pope Leo has cautioned Catholics against reading wisdom into aggregated data. Expect other faith leaders to follow. Elon Musk once warned that with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. That's from Elon Musk, direct quote. At least for now, the Satan feature on Text with Jesus isn't on by default. It has to be enabled in the settings and is only available to subscribers. So did you catch that? You can also talk to Satan on here. You could subscribe. You have to pay extra. You could talk to Jesus for free, but you have to pay extra to talk to Satan. It's crazy. And again, this is why I'm bringing this information out to you, because it just blows the mind. I'm going to go ahead and have the first video. We have 3 videos teed up here. One is 23 minutes. The second one is 1 minute. And then the third one is 18 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get off the stage. I don't know if we can dim the lights, guys, for the video or not. And let's go ahead and get these videos rolling.
But if the church knew where we are and what's going on around us right now.
Places like Silicon Valley, equality is out, but immortality is in. Everybody's talking about immortality. And basically they are saying death is not some metaphysical phenomenon. We don't have to wait for the second coming of Christ in order to solve it. A couple of geeks in a laboratory can do it.
Are they doing it?
Yeah, they are investing billions in that. Not only them, but all over the world.
Will we still be human?
Not in the sense that we understand humanity today. We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens.
So in the first book of Genesis, what God does is to create animals and plants and humans. And we now want to gain this ability to ourselves, to manufacture animals and plants and humans. And we even go beyond God. I mean, even if you believe in the Bible, the only thing the God of the Bible managed to create is organic beings. He managed to create the cows and the tomatoes and the giraffes and the humans, all organic. Now we try to go beyond the God of the Bible and create inorganic life, something he never managed to do, either according to the Bible or according to biology. Divinity is not far enough to describe what we are trying to do. Now we are much better than the God of the Bible. I mean, in the Bible you have these recurring droughts, that the people of Israel do something wrong, God's become angry, drought, no water. But now Israel has built in recent years a huge desalinization factory on the shores of the Mediterranean. And most drinking water in Israel today actually come from these plants, from these factories. So we can make God as angry as we like. I mean, he can stop the rains, we don't care. We still have water, because science has managed to go way beyond the expectations of the ancient Hebrews.
You have a lovely passage where you say, looking at the world today, God seems to be making a comeback, but this is a mirage. God is dead. It just takes a while to get rid of the body.
I think the most interesting place today from a religious perspective is Silicon Valley. My bet is this is where the new religions of the 21st century are being created, will be created, and these will be kind of techno-religions, religions based on technology, religions that make all the old promises of Christianity and Judaism and Hinduism and so forth. They will also promise happiness and prosperity and justice and even eternal life, but here on earth with the help of technology. And I think that fake news have been with us for thousands of years. Just think of the Bible. But they believe in fictional stories. I mean, all this story about Jesus rising from the dead and being the Son of God, this is fake news.
Wait, that's not true?
Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. If I think about the liberation of gay people, of LGBTQ people, then if you dig underneath, you eventually find Darwin. For centuries upon centuries, gay people were persecuted and oppressed because of this mythological idea about sex, that sex was created by God for the purpose of procreation. And if you use sex for anything else, you're sinning against the purpose of the thing, so you must be punished. And then Darwin came, and Darwin said, in biology, there are no purposes. Nothing has any purpose in biology. Homo sapiens is the only animal that can talk about things that don't really exist. Churches are rooted in common religious myth about God and heaven. AI has just hacked the operating system of human civilization. The operating system of every human culture in history has always been language. In the beginning was the word. We use language to create mythology and laws, to create gods and money. AI can create new ideas, can even write a new Bible. Throughout history, religions dreamt about having a book written by a superhuman intelligence, by a non-human entity. Every religion claims our book, all the other books of the other religions, humans wrote them. But our book, no. It came from some superhuman intelligence. In a few years, there might be religions that are actually correct. That just think about a religion whose holy book is written by an AI. That could be a reality in a few years. The Bible could not interpret itself. The Bible could not answer your questions, so you needed a human being as an intermediary. What happens when you have an AI text that can speak for itself? So I have friends who are now working on building religious AIs that are meant to either augment or replace human religious leaders.
But I go and talk to my pastor at our church when I am going through a difficult time. I am never going to talk to ChatGPT like that.
But it's an individual choice.
So you think some will?
I know that already millions of people do it. I know people who go for now AIs to get psychological counseling.
Yes.
That AI is their best friend, like teenagers. Something happened in school, they tell the AI what happened and ask for advice about relationships. There is a lot of talk these days about hacking computers and email accounts and bank accounts and mobile phones. But actually, we are gaining the ability to hack human beings. Elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it. Science is replacing evolution by natural selection with evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds, but our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds. The IBM cloud, the Microsoft cloud, these are the new driving forces of evolution.
Now this guy it would be laughable to most people several years ago, but this guy is the #1 advisor to Klaus Schwab in the WEF, the World Economic Forum. This is his #1 guy. This is the one Barack Obama praises. This is the one that Mark Zuckerberg praises. This is the one that Bill Gates praises. This is the guy who they call the prophet. Now you have to ask yourself something. If they call him a prophet deals with what they see in the future, and they deal with what they hear that will come, and what you can do, and what's the plan coming. So if he's the prophet, what is he doing? Now I want you to notice something about this guy. He talks about, now listen to this close. He said, notice he always mentions God. Always. He brings up God If he didn't believe in God, why bring him up? But I want you to notice how he talks. He says the only thing the God of the Bible, the Hebrew Bible. So he's talking about God. He said, and he acknowledged that he's there. But he said the only thing he managed to create was organic life. Trees, tomatoes, giraffes, and humans. And he always refers to humans. And he talks about the God of the Bible. What you're listening to is a spirit who was there when God made trees, tomatoes, plants, and humans. That spirit was there. That's why he's talking about him like he knows him. Can you see that? He wouldn't keep bringing him up. And he's the one that said, God is dead. It's just taking a while to get rid of the body. And so he's saying, now we're going to go beyond the God of the Bible, and we're going to create cyborgs. Cyborgs. This is part machine, part flesh. Now, this is not some bozo you think that nobody recognizes.
What are you most afraid of?
I think AI, artificial intelligence, is something that we should all be very concerned about. AI is the first tool we ever created that can make decisions independently of us. It doesn't ask us what to do, it can do things by itself. You know, you create a stone knife, the knife can't decide anything. You can use the knife to hunt an animal or to cut salad, it's your decision. Even when people invented nuclear weapons, it's never the bomb that makes the decision. But with AI, it can start making decisions by itself, including even about killing people. We are creating something, AI, that might control us in the same way that we previously controlled the cows.
This is the end of human history. Not the end of history, the end of human-dominated history. History will continue with somebody else in control. In 5 years, there'll be a technology that can make decisions independently and that can create new ideas independently. This is the first time in history we confronted something like this.
I hear a lot of people saying, oh, all these worries about AI, every time there is a new technology, people worry about it, and afterward it's okay. Like when people invented writing and printing presses and airplanes, they were so worried, and in the end it was okay, AI will be the same. It's not the same. No previous technology in history could make decisions. You know, even an atom bomb actually empowered humans, because an atom bomb can destroy a city, it cannot decide which city to bomb. You always need a human to make the decision. AI is the first technology that can make decisions by itself, even about us. We already see now in the war in Gaza and with the war in Ukraine, AI make the decision about what to bomb. And in the Hollywood scenario, you have the killer robots shooting people. In real life, it's the humans pulling the trigger, but the AI is choosing the targets.
AI is different because it's not a tool, it is an agent. What is an agent? An agent is something that can make decisions by itself, can invent new ideas by itself, can learn and change by itself. By definition, if you create an agent, you cannot predict what it will do and how it will behave. The Gaza war has been one of the first AI wars in history. A lot of the decisions during the war, including life and death decisions, which buildings to bomb, which people to kill, were done to some extent by AIs.
Usually we think about AI as an acronym for artificial intelligence. But it's no longer artificial. If you think about what an artifact is something that we create and we control. Yep. With each passing day, AI is becoming less and less artificial, which is why I prefer to think about AI as an acronym for alien intelligence.
To that, as I ask you this first question, you call artificial intelligence or alien intelligence, as you refer to it throughout your writing, the rise of a new species that could replace Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
Yeah, traditionally, the acronym AI stood for Artificial Intelligence. But with every passing year, AI becomes less artificial and more alien. Alien not in the sense that it's coming from outer space, it's not. We create it. But alien in the sense it analyzes information, makes decisions, invents new things in a fundamentally different way than human beings. Again, artificial is from artifact. It gives us the impression that this is an artifact that we control, and this is misleading. Because yes, we designed the kind of baby AIs, we gave them the ability to learn and change by themselves, and then we release them to the world, and they do things that are not under our control, that are unpredictable, and in this sense they are alien. Again, the AI, it's the most powerful technology ever created. It's not a tool, it's an agent. So you have millions and billions of new agents, are very intelligent, very capable, that can be used to create the best healthcare system in the world, but also the most lethal army in the world, or the worst secret police in the world. If you think about authoritarian regimes, so throughout history they always wanted to monitor their citizens around the clock, but this was technically impossible. Now, for the first time in history, it is technically possible to annihilate privacy. A totalitarian regime today doesn't need millions of human agents if he wants to follow everybody around. You have the smartphones and cameras and drones and microphones everywhere. And you don't need millions of human analysts to analyze this ocean of information. You have AI. And this is already beginning to happen. This is not a future prediction. In many places around the world, you begin to see the formation of this totalitarian surveillance regime. In the 21st century, a new Stalin might have the ability first to really re-engineer the body down to the level of DNA and create new human species, and perhaps even to create completely inorganic life forms. So we can imagine millions of years of a new evolutionary track beginning with some 21st century Stalin.
Have you talked to folks like Sam Altman, who runs OpenAI, or the folks at Microsoft? I know Bill Gates was a big fan of your books in the past, or the folks at Google. What do they say when you discuss this with them? And do you trust them? When you've met them, do you go, I trust you, Sam Altman?
Most of them are afraid. They understand.
Afraid of you? Or afraid of AI?
No, afraid of what they are doing. Afraid of what is happening. They understand better than anybody else the potential, including the destructive potential of what they are creating, and they are very afraid of it. At the same time, their basic shtick is that I'm a good guy and I'm very concerned about it. Now you have these other guys, they are bad, they don't have the same kind of responsibility that I have, so it would be very bad for humanity if they create it first, so I must be the one who creates it first, and you can trust me that I will at least do my best to keep it under control. And everybody are saying it, and I think that to some extent they are genuine about it. There is, of course, also this another element in there of extreme kind of pride and hubris that they are doing the most important thing in basically not just the history of humanity, the history of life.
And you meet with these, entrepreneurs and business tycoons and politicians also in the US, in China, in Europe, and they all tell you the same thing basically. They all say, we know that this thing is very, very dangerous, but we can't trust the other humans. If we slow down, how do we know that our competitors will also slow down? We have to rush even faster because we can't trust the other corporation, the other country. And if they get it before we get it, it will be a disaster. And so you have this kind of paradoxical situation where the humans can't trust each other. How do you know you could trust the AI? And then they tell you, oh, I think that will be okay. I think we've figured out how to make sure that the AI will be trustworthy and under our control. It observes the world because AI learns from observation.
Yes.
If it observes the world, it observes how humans behave towards each other, it observes how its own creators behave. And if they are ruthless, power-hungry competitors, it will also be ruthless and power-hungry. You cannot create a compassionate and trustworthy AI through an arms race.
But it's already happening. There is an arms race. The very people who are spending the billions and billions are the same people, for example, Mark Zuckerberg and Meta, who gave us the disaster of Facebook and social media and what it has done to the polity of the world and to the poverty of the world, to essentially, in this country, as we know, the rivers are polluted and contaminated. You wouldn't swim in any river in Britain because there's raw sewage being poured into it. Well, our children are breathing a cultural river, which is similarly polluted and contaminated. And we all know this, and Facebook knows this, and Twitter and X know this, but they do nothing about it. And if you even mention guardrails and regulation, they scream communism. And Trump has just announced that he will ban individual states in America from regulating AI. There is an arms race. So everything you said is happening.
Now, AI is just beginning, but its evolution is much faster than organic evolution. It is millions of times faster. So if the AIs of today are like amoebas, we might encounter the AI Tyrannosaurus Rex within a decade or two. And we have no idea what it will be capable of doing. Again, all these discussions of AI, 10 years ago, nobody except a very small community of experts was talking about AI. So think about the previous 10 years and try to imagine where we will be in 10 or 20 years.
It might take just 10 or 20 years to get from the AI amoebas of today to AI T-Rex in 2040 or 2050.
Maybe even less.
Maybe even less.
We're talking about, I don't think our brains are organized properly to really comprehend the accelerated speed at which this is self-learning and iterating and improving upon itself. Like this, it's a compounding thing that is astronomical.
So it's in a way, it's the biggest social experiment in human history. We are all part of it, and nobody has any idea how it will develop.
But if the humans are divided among themselves and are in an arms race, then it becomes almost impossible to contain this alien intelligence. And there is, I'm tending to think of it more in terms of really an alien invasion. That like somebody coming and telling us that, you know, there is a fleet, an alien fleet of spaceships coming from planet Zircon or whatever, with highly intelligent beings. They'll be here in 5 years and take over the planet. Maybe they'll be nice. Maybe they'll solve cancer and climate change, but we are not sure. This is what we are facing, except that the aliens are not coming in spaceships from planet Zircon, they're coming from the laboratory.
I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. He which testifieth these things saith, Surely I come quickly. Amen. Even so, come, Lord Jesus.
If that doesn't shock you, you aren't paying attention. This man is the advisor to one of the most powerful men in the world, Klaus Schwab, who heads up the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum is where all the billionaires and zillionaires go every year in January in Davos, Switzerland, to plan the future for the rest of humankind. And so he is an atheist. He is a Jewish homosexual Some people think he's going to be the Antichrist. And you see the blasphemy, and again, this is just sort of to make us aware of what is happening, whether we realize it or not. And it's kind of like the genie's out of the bottle. It's like opening Pandora's box. Once you develop these technologies, which we have and we are, you cannot put the genie back in the bottle. And so this is why I believe that this is going to be the vehicle through which the Antichrist comes into power. Now I want to show you on another side. That was more the intellectual side of AI and the scary intellectual side, demonic evil side of AI. Now I want to show you what the Chinese are doing with artificial intelligence. They're number one in the world by far when it comes to artificial intelligence and robotics. And everything that you're about to see in these next two videos are not computer generated images. These are real robots that they have, self-driving cars, robots, all the rest in China. So if you imagine if you take somebody with the knowledge of how to program AI and then put that AI into a robot, and then the robots go out and do things, you get the idea of where this could go. So I'm going to go ahead, and the first one is just to show this AI robot being able to change out his own batteries so that he could keep going indefinitely. And then the other one is really showing what's going on in China.
China just shocked the world with what they're building. But here's what no one's talking about. While Western media keeps you distracted, China's quietly racing ahead, building a future that looks straight out of science fiction. AI systems that think for themselves, machines that replace humans, cities run entirely by algorithms, and yet barely a whisper in the West. Because what's happening right now isn't just about smart cities or flying taxis. China's building something far more powerful, a robot army. And once you see what it can do, you'll realize the future isn't coming, it's already here, and China's leading it. Let me start with something that sounds impossible. Remember when pizza delivery meant waiting 30 to 45 minutes and hoping it would still be warm? Well, China said not anymore. They've created a whole network of delivery drones that can bring your food in just 15 minutes, and they're accurate to the exact minute. The company Meituan has already made over 300,000 deliveries using drones. That's like delivering food to every person in a medium-sized city. The drones fly on set routes and drop packages at special boxes, so there's no waiting around for a delivery person. But it gets even crazier in the countryside. JD.com has drones that can carry 5 to 30 kilograms. They call it a pickup truck in the air. And it's connecting villages that never had fast delivery before. Do you think that's impressive? Well, here's something that will make your jaw drop. This year alone, 15 million new cars in China will have robot brains that can drive themselves. That means 2 out of every 3 new cars can drive without a human touching the steering wheel. But let me tell you about the GUA01, the world's first car with a real AI brain. This isn't just self-driving. This is a car that can literally think and talk to you. The GUA01 has an AI partner called Simo that you can talk to just like a friend. You can stand outside your car and say, "Simo, come pick me up," and it will drive itself to you from up to 2 kilometers away. Here's what's absolutely incredible. The GUA01 is powered by dual NVIDIA Orin chips with 508 TOPS of AI computing power, 11 HD cameras, 12 ultrasonic sensors, and 5 radar systems. That's more sensors than a military drone. It can park itself, change lanes, avoid obstacles, recognize traffic lights, and even make unprotected left turns in busy city traffic. Have you ever thought of BYD's Yangwang U8? It can do a tank turn, spinning 360 degrees in place like a spinning top. The car's 4 independent motors can make each wheel turn in opposite directions, letting it rotate without moving forward or backward. It can also crab walk sideways into parking spaces by moving all 4 wheels in the same direction. The Yangwang U8 SUV can even drive into water that's almost 5 feet deep, float like a boat, and actually move through water at 3 kilometers per hour by spinning its wheels. Imagine this. There's a flood, and instead of being stuck, you just drive your car into the water and boat your way to safety. It can stay floating for 30 whole minutes. This isn't a concept car. You can actually buy this right now. The IM Motors L6 can slide horizontally into parking spots like it's dancing. Using its 4-wheel steering system and independent electric motors, it can reduce parking space requirements by 11% and has a turning circle of just 4.99 meters. That's half the size of normal cars. Even more amazing, the BYD Denza Z9 GT can parallel park by literally power sliding into tight spots. The car uses its electric motors to spin the rear wheels in opposite directions, while the front wheels provide the pivot point, letting it slip sideways into spaces that seem impossible. And if you think that's impressive, wait till you see what BYD built next. Their U9 Extreme supercar can go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 2.36 seconds. That's faster than you can say super speed. It just shattered every speed record on Earth, reaching 496.22 kilometers per hour, making it not just the fastest Chinese car ever built, but the fastest production car in the world. But here's the absolutely mind-blowing part. The BYD Yangwang U9 can literally dance. This $236,000 supercar has something called the D-Suzek system that can make the car jump up to 75 millimeters in the air, hop over obstacles, and even synchronize movements to music. You can literally watch a 1,287 horsepower supercar dancing to a beat. The crazy part? This isn't just a party trick. The system reacts in just 40 milliseconds and can lift each wheel by 75 millimeters at speeds up to 500 millimeters per second. It's faster than you can blink. That's more powerful than any production car that has ever been built. It will be faster than the Lamborghini, Ferrari, and even the $2 million Rimac Nevera. But here's what's scary for other car companies. BYD just became the first automaker globally to reach 10 million new energy vehicles, and they're selling these dancing supercars for $236,000, while a Ferrari costs over $500,000. But here's the amazing part. 85% of Chinese people are totally comfortable letting a robot drive them around, while only 39% of Americans feel the same way. China is literally racing into the future, while other countries are still scared to try. They're testing self-driving taxis in 19 different cities with 16,000 test cars on 32,000 kilometers of special roads. That's like driving around the entire Earth and still having roads left over. Well, the AI cars are taking the world to the next level, but if we talk about their charging, they take hours to charge, right? Well, BYD just broke that problem forever. Their new batteries can charge so fast that 5 minutes of charging gives you 400 kilometers of driving. That's like driving from one city to another with just a quick bathroom break worth of charging. They call it the 1 megawatt charging system. That's 1,000 times more powerful than charging your phone. In fact, it's now faster to charge an electric car than to fill up with gasoline. But China did not stop there. China also has built trains that don't even touch the ground. They float using magnets. These maglev trains recently reached 404 miles per hour in just 7 seconds. That's faster than most airplanes when they're taking off. In testing, one train reached over 620 miles per hour. That's literally faster than commercial planes flying in the sky. With trains this fast, you could travel from Beijing to Shanghai in just 2.5 hours instead of 5.5 hours. Well, if you think floating trains at 620 miles per hour are mind-blowing, here's what will really shock you. China isn't just building futuristic technology. They're building futuristic minds. While we're teaching kids basic math, China is turning their children into AI experts. Starting this year, every kid in Beijing as young as 6 years old is required to take AI classes for at least 8 hours every school year. That's millions and millions of kids learning to use AI before they even learn multiplication. China has chosen 184 schools to test even more advanced AI programs. By the time these kids are adults, they'll be controlling technology that doesn't even exist yet. It seems like there's almost no field left where China hasn't used AI. But have you ever imagined a country building an entire highway without a single worker? Well, China just did it. They recently built a road using 100 self-driving haul trucks, massive machines that can each carry 85 tons and drive completely on their own. No human driver, no brakes, even in freezing temperatures as low as minus 40 degrees Celsius. And it doesn't stop there. Chinese companies have now deployed entire robot fleets for road construction, including 10 autonomous road rollers and 2 giant pavers that build highways automatically using GPS and smart algorithms. They're literally building the roads that other robots will drive on. China's next goal? To have 5,000 self-driving haul trucks operating across the country by the end of this year. And judging by their pace, that might happen sooner than anyone expects. Flying in China is like stepping into the future. At 62 airports, 557 security channels use facial recognition, so you don't need a ticket or an ID card. The system already knows who you are just by scanning your face. At Shanghai Hongqiao Airport, you can check in, drop your bags, pass security, and board your flight without speaking to a single person. The entire process takes just 12 seconds per passenger. Beijing's largest airport has over 600 biometric checkpoints, 250 automatic gates, and 80 self-service stations, all powered by facial recognition. Everything happens automatically. You just walk through and the cameras do the rest. But it's not just at airports. Across China, cameras are everywhere, watching, analyzing, and recognizing faces in real time. China has installed more than 200 million surveillance cameras. That's 4 times more than the entire United States. They call it the Skynet system, and it uses facial recognition to track every person in the country. The technology is so advanced it can catch jaywalkers, identify anyone not wearing a mask, and even predict crimes before they happen. Police officers even wear AI-powered smart helmets that can scan crowds and instantly identify wanted criminals. This technology is incredibly powerful, and China is moving ahead fast with AI, while the rest of the world is struggling to keep up. We make online payments by scanning cards or using our phones, right? Well, China has already taken it one step further. There, you can make payments without a card or even a phone. Sounds impossible? They're doing it with their palms. It might sound like magic, but it's real. Millions of people in China are already paying for things just by showing their hand. Tencent's WeChat Palm Pay scans the lines and veins in your palm. It's more secure than fingerprints and faster than pulling out your wallet. Over 1,500 stores are already using it, with an error rate of less than 1 in a million. Students use it at universities. Travelers use it on trains. And soon, people might not need cash, cards, or even phones to pay for anything. But here's where it gets even crazier. In China, people aren't just going cashless. They're letting robots do their jobs for them. There's a robot in China that's about as tall as a 10-year-old kid, but it can pull off perfect kung fu moves, dance like a pro, and even run faster than most adults. Meet the Unitree G1 robot. It's not just any robot. The G1 stands 1.32 meters tall, about 4'4", and weighs 35 kilograms with its battery. It has 23 moving joints, giving it human-like motion. It can walk, run, jump, sit, stand, shake hands, and wave, all with incredible balance and precision. It moves so naturally you'd swear there's a person inside. But here's the crazy part. It's not just for show. The G1 can help with daily tasks like carrying objects, opening bottles, or cleaning up your room. And when you're bored, it can break into kung fu routines, stick dances, or any choreography you program. It's also smart enough to fold itself up for easy storage or transport, like packing a suitcase. And here's the real shocker. It costs just $16,000. That might sound pricey, but compared to other humanoid robots that cost hundreds of thousands, it's almost a bargain. And wait, there's more. They also made robot dogs called the Go-To. These aren't cute pet robots. These are serious working dogs that weigh only 15 kilograms but can run at 2.5 meters per second. But here's what makes them absolutely incredible. They can walk upside down, do backflips, front flips, cartwheels, and even adaptive rollovers while climbing over obstacles. These robot dogs understand voice commands thanks to GPT technology, can shake hands, stretch, dance, and even take photos. The coolest part? They have 4D LiDAR that can see 360 degrees around them with almost no blind spots, detecting things as close as 0.05 meters away. The Go-To Pro can run up to 11 miles per hour and has an intelligent side-following system that lets it jog alongside you while automatically avoiding obstacles. Plus, they made a wheeled version called Go-To W that can roll across any terrain while carrying 6.6 pounds of stuff. The scary part? At the 19th Asian Games in Hangzhou, robot dogs were already working on the field, transporting discus and javelin, and the crowd went wild. They're already being used by police and military around the world. Now, let's talk about something that will give you goosebumps. There's a company called X Robots making androids. That's robots that look exactly like humans. I'm talking about robots with real-looking skin, perfect teeth, and eyes that blink just like yours. These robots have 140 different ways they can move their face and body. That's more than most humans. They cost about $280,000 each, and it takes a whole month just to make one because every tiny detail has to be perfect, even down to the pores on their skin. But here's what's absolutely incredible. X Robots has already built over 200 humanoid robots, and they're now producing 500 plus units per year in their massive factory in Dalian. They've even resurrected famous scientists like Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, and Thomas Edison as talking robots that can tell their life stories. These robots are already working in science museums, hotels, schools, and government offices across China. The company opened the first robot museum in the entire country where you can meet robot versions of historical figures. Here's what's frightening. In a few years, you might not be able to tell if you're talking to a human or a robot. What happens when these robots become cheaper and everyone can buy one? And while we're still trying to figure out if robots can replace basic human interaction, China is already using them in the most advanced fields imaginable. China has built AI machines that can find your veins and draw your blood with more precision than the world's best nurses. No more painful needle pokes, no more "let me try the other arm." But that's just the beginning. Chinese hospitals have deployed automatic medication delivery robots that pick up medicines from the pharmacy and deliver them directly to patient wards in minutes instead of hours. So, no more waiting for overworked nurses. No more life-threatening medication delays. These robots know exactly which medicine goes to which patient and navigate busy hallways automatically. But here's something that will absolutely blow your mind. Chinese doctors are now performing surgeries on patients who are 8,000 kilometers away. In Xinjiang, surgeons operated on patients using robotic systems while sitting in completely different cities, thousands of miles away. That was about remote areas. But what if the doctor itself is a robot? Meet Dr. Alfred, an AI robot surgeon so realistic you'd think he's human. This hyper-realistic robot communicates fluently, understands multiple languages, and answers medical questions like a real doctor. China has also built the world's first AI hospital with 14 robot doctors and 4 robot nurses. These robot doctors treat 3,000 patients in just one day. These robot doctors are right 93% of the time, better than many human doctors. Well, if China has used AI in cars, construction, travel, shopping, food delivery, and medical, then how can it stay behind in something even more basic? The food we eat? China is also using smart technology in farming. The DJI Agris T100 is a powerful farm drone that can carry 100 kilograms of seeds or pesticides. It sprays crops automatically, works at night, and uses smart sensors to avoid obstacles. The drone can spread seeds very fast and helps farmers work more efficiently. Another amazing machine is the 108-arm cotton topping robot. This robot has advanced sensors and cameras that help it see and work precisely. It can trim cotton buds on 26 to 40 hectares of cotton fields every day. The robot works 120 times faster than human workers. There's also the GPS-enabled transplanter, an automated machine that can plant crops on 6 to 7 hectares of land in just one day. This smart machine can do the work of 80 to 100 people, saving farmers a lot of money on labor costs. These smart farming machines show how China is using AI to grow food better and faster. China isn't just building cool technology, they're building all of it at the same time, and they're doing it faster than anyone thought possible. And this isn't the end, this is just the beginning. Every single one of these technologies is going to get better, faster, and cheaper. But the question is, when will this technology spread to other countries? And are you ready for a world where cameras know everything about everyone?
You guys don't know whether to applaud or shudder in your chairs, right? You should be in shock. Because this is what's coming, this is what's happening, and you could see if we have evil people that are manufacturing this AI technology, and just average humans. They don't have to be evil humans, they just have to be humans. And if the AI is going to act like humans act, then the AI is going to lie, the AI is going to cheat, the AI is going to steal. And once you put that intelligence into robotics like this, there's really going to be nowhere to hide, nowhere to run from what is coming. And of course, this is exactly what the Bible predicted was going to happen. Kenny, I'm going to go ahead and skip the slides for now and just read to you from Revelation chapter 13, which tells us about the Antichrist's system that is coming. Revelation 13 and verse 1. And I saw a beast rising out of the sea with 10 horns and 7 heads and 10 diadems on his horns and blasphemous names on his head. So the Antichrist is going to be known for blasphemy. That's one thing that he's going to be known for. And you see already those who are engineering the artificial intelligence are as godless, pretty much as godless as you can get. The beast that I saw was like a leopard. Its feet were like a bear's. Its mouth was like a lion's mouth. And to it the dragon gave its power and his throne and great authority. One of his heads seems to have a mortal wound, but its mortal wound was healed. And the whole earth marveled as they followed the beast. And they worshiped the dragon. Revelation 13:4. For he had given his authority to the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like the beast, and who could fight against it? Imagine controlling a robot army that could recognize everyone's face, even if you're wearing a mask, because of your gait, the way you walk, and identify you instantaneously. And you can't buy or sell without being able to get checked in electronically because it's already flagged you. Who can fight against this beast? Imagine those robots if they turned them into military robots. They're doing it in China, by the way. The beast was given a mouth uttering haughty and blasphemous words. It was allowed to exercise authority for 42 months. It opened its mouth to utter blasphemies against God, blaspheming his name and his dwelling, that is, those who dwell in heaven. And it was allowed to make war on the saints and to conquer them. And authority was given to it over every tribe and people and language and nation, and all who dwelt on the earth will worship it. Everyone whose name has not been written before the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who was slain. It's the Antichrist beast system that is being manufactured all around us. Whether we're aware of it or not, this is happening. And the Bible told us that this was coming. There's going to be a mark that's going to be required on the right hand or the forehead, or you will be excluded from the economy. You won't be able to buy or sell, and ultimately for those who are here, they're going to be tracked down, hunted down, they're going to be in prison, and ultimately, if they won't worship the Antichrist, they're going to be beheaded. This is what the Bible tells us is coming. We don't think we're going to be here. We believe the rapture is going to happen before all of this takes place, which means that we have got to be so close to the rapture of the church, because of all of this, really it's almost like they just have to throw a switch and all of this is going to be upon us. And I don't believe the church can be here for this for a lot of reasons. I don't have time to go into the pre-tribulation rapture position tonight, but we have to get the warnings out there because there will be a generation who's going to see this happen. And this one world system is going to come into place as the Bible predicted, and the devil is going to take over that system. And it's going to require everyone to worship the Antichrist, or they are going to be excluded, and ultimately they're going to be killed. So this is part one. I didn't even get through about 90% of my notes for session one. That's okay. I really wanted you to see these videos. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back here in about 10 minutes to kick off session two. Go enjoy some food, enjoy some fellowship, and we'll see you back here for some more music, some more teaching, some more news articles, and some more videos in the second session.